In Damascus, the capital of Syria, a national dialogue conference began today. The event was scheduled for January 4th or 5th, but it didn't occur. Finally, it started today. Al-Shara. Transition period, the president gave a speech. This included the YPG and PKK elements not laying down their arms, meaning a bit circumventing, joining the bloc in a way that skirts around the rule. Okay, let us retain our weapons and remain an integral part of the army's composition, but let's function as a cohesive entity independently in this particular scenario, the soldier replied to their assertions. Let's look at that too. Syrian President Shara stated that weapons should be consolidated in one hand, namely the state. It is not a luxury, but a necessity and an obligation, he said. He touched upon the difficulties Syria is experiencing and said that the country can recover through unity. We call on you to unite for the healing of Syria, to mend its wounds, and to offer solace. He stated that they should collaborate to work together. Shara continued by saying that the Syrian people have a duty to fulfill their commitment and responsibility to their homeland. Syria trusts you, and I am confident that you will not disappoint it again, that you will not neglect it, and that you will stay awake to protect and rebuild it, he said. Foreign Minister Esat Hassan Sheibani. In recent years, Syria, the regime created a systematic war under which exceptional conditions were faced, extending beyond any limits. After liberation, we did not succumb to pressures, focusing on openness and effective policy, emphasizing diplomacy, but no matter what, there is no passage to division, he says. Syria's new administration. Professor Poyraz, how would you say, under these conditions, a quick statement had come? Maslam Abdi. The leader of the terrorist organization PKK-YPG said we were not invited to the National Convention, that is, the meeting where Ahmed Ershar was elected president. In a place where I was not invited, I don't recognize the elected president either. In Damascus, the structure, in Damascus, the elements, the will in Damascus, and so on, he was talking like that. However, this past weekend, he promptly issued a statement and mentioned, "We congratulate Ahmed Ershar. We also want to join the army, but we will join as a bloc." Now what is happening? He still says today it is obligatory for Shar, meaning a need, a necessity for the weapon to be gathered in one hand. That is, instead of the state, it is not a luxury. It is a necessity and obligatory, he says. What do you say about YPG, PKK, and the Druze? Will they join this call?
Yesterday, in Mr. Fidan's statement, there was already an emphasis on Syria's territorial integrity, and of course it should be unified, and naturally there is the fight against ISIS. Now, of course, the Damascus regime and we ourselves need to interpret this correctly. Look, Syria, while listening to Shara's speech today, I also thought about this, will draft its constitution. Yes, a demographic election will be held. We look at it from the perspective of territorial integrity, and primarily in terms of the terrorist organization and our own security. But Syria is a name given to a country, yes, but this is a regional name. In other words, a name of a region controlled to dominate the Middle East. Throughout history, they have maintained control of this place, thereby exerting dominance over the Middle East. So, right now, look at the power that Shara holds, along with Damascus with us, because Ankara supports this, the power it holds, the Red Sea. I am talking about a region that controls the Middle East. Therefore, here, the PYD, of course, holds a third in the Northeast, hydropolitics, carbon-derived fuels. We have been stating from the beginning that it is difficult to give up on these. We are in the north, which is advantageous here. Strategy, force, time, space, perception. The Turkish armed forces are already waiting. I congratulate the personnel of MIT once again. So right now, what intelligence is? Everyday plus. We again pray for mercy from God. That attack in 2013. In other words, as a result, day by day, the Republic of Turkey neutralizes the individuals it has noted down. Here, although the communication has ceased, it seems that the PYD, with numbers varying around 60,000, currently needs air support. It appears that the forces in Manbij are also in need of an operation involving special forces. Of course, the Turkish General Staff and our Ministry of National Defense are evaluating this much better. However, when it comes to power, time, space, and perception in the eyes of the public, because right now, without shifting our fault lines, We are observing the responsibility to monitor the developments here. Yes, we all see it together. But the point here is, currently in Aleppo, where snipers are shooting, or in Manbij, where chaos is likely to lead to another wave of migration, another refugee issue. Again, I am saying this based on the news you provided. I am of the opinion that in relation to this perception, Mr. Ludizer, it is crucial for us to execute nuanced actions targeting the Damascus regime. Strategically, it is right for us to wait. The PYD will weaken day by day, but right now, both Damascus and the Free Syrian Army, as well as the National Syrian Army, need to move more comfortably and in a more coordinated manner, in my opinion, without pushing the threshold of that perception too much further. It seems like there is a need for an air-supported and special forces-supported operation.
There is still that need. So now let's show the footage of the Druze. What kind of statement did they make in Sweda? On Sunday, he said there are Druze in Netanya, and their safety is at stake, as they already are. They are siding with Israel. They want to join Israel. I will not leave Syria for the safety of the Druze. He said in the Herman and Sweda areas, their security will be ensured in some way. Now the Druze, led by the Sweda Military Council, have declared their characteristics. And as you can see here, they organized a parade. They demanded autonomy for all of Syria. The importance of a decentralized system is stressed, which is also reiterated by the PKK-YPG, a known terrorist organization. Just now, the issues of the people there in Manbij were explained to the cameras, meaning terrorism continues there. That is, 13 years ago. Turkey is still gathering the perpetrators of the horrific terrorist attack that bloodied Turkey 12 years ago. Ultimately, Mr. Geezer, what is your comment or expectation here? You know, Trump. Will he give them permission to leave or not? This is, of course, another element, but it was a period when Israel said, I am here for the Druze, and supported the PKK, attempting to gradually unveil the intricacies of the David Corridor bit by bit. Do you agree with Professor Poyraz on Turkey's options? Is a major operation inevitable?
At this point, I think Turkey is following a wait-and-see policy from Mr. Errol's perspective in two ways. First, as you just showed on the screen, the Syrians are trying to take control of their own destiny. They are making a great effort. That is, the Assad regime, and also that Assad regime, for the last 13 years, are in an effort to rebuild their country after a civil war that was a destruction. Therefore, in the first stage, Turkey's, Syria's, looking at the steps Syria will take, I think it will take a step accordingly. I mean, I won't make any moves. Shara is already giving all the necessary messages. After that, first, they should try to take control of their country. I always say, in the eyes of the West, I try to look from different perspectives. Of course, we will look at the center of Ankara, but we will not forget how the world views us. In terms of our policy on Syria, I regard it as an appropriate approach. However, the crucial concern lies in what actions America will take. I mean, there still hasn't been a clear message from America. Although Trump made statements before and after becoming president, no significant actions have been taken so far, leaving the situation unresolved. No steps have been taken in this direction yet. Although Mr. Fidan had a meeting with Marco Rubio from Turkey, did they take the time to have a discussion regarding our plans for Syria? I have not received any updates regarding the progress made in establishing a roadmap for addressing these matters. Therefore, I do not expect an operation in the near future. This is due to two reasons I mentioned earlier. Let's come to the issue of the Druze. Yes, the Druze are important for Israel, but I think the Israelis, in essence, use the Druze of Israel for the Kurds. So, the aim here is not the Druze. The aim here is through the Druze, with that David Corridor.
With the combined terror organization.
Yes. From a regional perspective, it is the Kurds that are being referred to, you see. Israel always says this, and is increasingly saying it. They are our natural allies. When they achieve their own country, we will sign this Abraham agreement with them as well. So, there are such clear statements made by the foreign ministers. Therefore, the Druze here are just an excuse. The main issue is to reach the Kurds here and establish a federative structure with the Kurds there. Initially, look, the initial goal is this, a federal structure. Afterwards, certainly, the given text has 22 characters. I think they have a long-term plan in mind, such as merging it with the structure in northern Iraq. But if I am thinking this, our state leaders surely know this very well from much different perspectives. Accordingly, I have confidence in the implementation of a policy which is being enforced at present, both within Turkey and in relation to Syria and Iraq. As previously mentioned, I regard the Druze as merely a means to an end, serving as a stepping stone in my journey.